Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll focus on fundamentals of programming. We will be creating a simple application using Python, but it will give you the concepts of programming in terms of variables, loops, if statements, functions, and other things. Those skills will help you later to do more sophisticated example, but the one we will create in this will do some drawing like this. So it will start making some nice art similar to what you see on the screen. The language we're using here, as I mentioned, is Python, and the reason we're using Python is the application for Python is really wide, and the language is very strong in so many things, including data analytics, data science, machine learning, engineering, health science, education, and all the different aspects. To access this application I have here and get access to the same code, and also you can change it and do some other things with it, you need basically this URL. So you see this URL, if you just put it in any browsers or tablet machine or anything, you will get the code and you should be able to run it and make some changes without installing anything on your computer. You don't need to install anything in your computer. We're using Replit, and Replit provide more than 30 languages that you can basically use. Now I'm going to create a session. So I go here, session. So I want to start from scratch, so you have nothing on the screen, so you can later learn the programming. So I click here and say, so here now I need to select the language. So I'll just type Python, and you can see there are 3 of Pythons. We'll be using the one with Turtle, and Turtle will allow us to do those nice graphics and make the concept of programming very clear to you. So we are there now. We have an empty code, then we start doing that. So the first line is import Turtle, and the import line, this line, what does it do? It basically gives us access to a library of code. There are some genius people and people who really spend good time working on this. They created a library for us that allows us to do many things. So Turtle is one of that, allows us to draw an object on the screen and make the object to go left, right, up, down, rotate, change angle, change color, and change size and things like that. So you can create those amazing graphics which can be used in textile and other things you can do. So we're just importing that one. That line is good enough to allow us to import it. We'll create an object. We'll give it the variable OP. The object is that cursor will come on the screen and move around. It's not exactly that, it's a little bit more than that, but for the time being, just think about it like this way, and then things will get clear for you later. So the object will create it from the type Turtle, and we'll use Turtle here function to create it. This should be uppercase T. So Python is case sensitive. The first one is lowercase because you're using that one, but the other one, which is the function, which later we'll understand, will have uppercase. Now we have this object. Now we can give this object some instructions to do. We'll ask this object to move forwards. So move forward by 100 points. Once we tell that object, it will move 100 points. So the object now can follow some instructions, and programming is basically some instructions that goes to the computer. So the programmer will tell the computer what to do, and those instructions goes into a sequence that depends on certain conditions. So sometimes you change directions, do something different, you do different instructions because of some conditions. We'll come to that one. And sometimes you need to repeat certain instructions multiple times And instead of copying the code again and again, you use some loops. We will see how we do that. Now we told it to go there. Let's say the object to go left, to rotate left by 90 angle. This is an angle here. Yeah, so once we do that, you will see this one will go up. See the cursor? And if I ask that object again to move forward by another 100, you can see it's going up by another 100. Now, if I want to make something little different, let's make it go by only 90. I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. See, it went up only 90. Now, let me rotate it. Basically, I'm copying this again. Copy and just put it here. And this is 90. Let it go by 80 and see what will happen. This object will start doing something like that. So if I also copy again, leave the angle 90 and make this one now 70, and see what will happen. It's going down. Then I'll do one more thing and make it go forward by 60. You see, it's doing this. You see, so, and I can continue. But now if I continue, I want to repeat the same thing, say 500 times, it will be very tedious. I just copy the code and repeat it again. So here where comes those loops. Okay, so what I'll do, I can replace the whole code here. I need just only, say, those 3 lines, these lines only, yeah, 2 lines, and then I can use a for loop here. I'll show you how to do that. In Python, you can say for I in range of 10. We'll do 10 times, then we'll make it later 100. And you need a column here. So this is how the for loop works. You declare a variable called I, and that I change from 1 to 100. I can say 1 to 100 if I want, like that, or 1 to 10. So the I at the beginning 1, then become 2, become 3, become 4, become 5, and continue. In Python, it's important if you have a for loop to start, you push your next line or the indentation of that line by 2 characters. So this should look like this. What does it mean? It means those 2 lines are inside the for loop. They are inside the for loop. Now if I run it, nothing will really change. I'll get something like this, and it goes like that and continue rotating, and nothing special is happening. But if I go and change this one, yeah, this 100, make it the first time 100, the second time is 80, the third time is 70, and things like that. So how I can do that? How I can make this one is a variable, keep changing. What I can do here, I'll call this one as distance. I'll give it the variable d, and I'll start by 100. So distance is 100 at the beginning, and this one now become d. So basically, there's nothing changed. So going through the loop using, instead of just the number 100, using using d, which d is 100. But now I need, after finishing the first 2 lines, reduce the value of d by certain thing. So after finishing that 2 lines, so d will be d minus, say, 10. Now every time it does these 2 lines, the third line reduce d by 10. So when it goes back, d becomes now 90. When it goes back again, d becomes 80, and do like that. So if I do this one, you will see now it's going around and doing those funny things. Now I'm doing it only 10 times. Let me do it 100 times. Okay? And let's make this one more precise. We'll just move one step and do this. See what we'll get now? We'll get something getting different. Okay? So that because we're using Now it's a little bit slow. I want it to go a little bit faster. So one thing I have in Python or in Turtle is object speed. Speed, and make it say 10. Now if I run it, it goes a little bit faster. You can see it's going faster, filling that box and doing things and creating that nice box. It looks really like a very nice, simple one. Yeah. So that's one thing. Now this angle is always 90. I can make it a variable. I'll call it angle and start by 90. And once I do that, I come here and call this angle. So this what I'm using now, D and angle are variables. Oh, yeah, so I can change them later. That allow me to change them later. So if I run that, it runs fine. Now, if I decided to make this angle is 140, for example, and run this, you'll see I'll start getting something different coming on the screen. Some amazing stuff coming there. And drawing it in a loop. So the loop will continue doing this. I can run the loop for as much as I want to do. Now maybe I want to make the distance is 200 now. I run it again. You'll see it become bigger because it's moving further with more distance on the screen, and start drawing those lines on the screen like stars and with different angles. When the angle is 140. So I can start playing with the angle, and based on the angle I get different things on the screen, which is very nice. So the for loop will do this 100 times. Every time it goes, it will use D. D at the beginning is 200 with the variable, and then it will move forward by 200. Now next line is changing the angle, going left by the angle which 140. So it will go 140, and then next thing it will reduce D by 1, reduce D by 1, so D become 199. Then goes back here because the for loop is still there, goes back there, and now D becomes 199. Move forward 1999 and change the angle again, and then go back and repeat this 100 times because I have from 1 to 100. And this is why this amazing thing comes here. If I want to change this one and make it, for example, 5, you will see the changes on the screen will come there. Okay, then we can change colors. See, this angle is amazing. You're studying math in other courses, you studied math and geometry and other things. You can use all those nice mathematical formulas and come and draw it here, and it creates some amazing stuff for you. Science is beautiful. If you look at the physics law, and if you just try to create some of those drawing on the physics law by changing the variables and repeating, you will get some amazing things coming on the screen. Okay, great. So now we know how to use the for loop. Now what if I want to draw not only one chart, I want to draw many charts, but each one has a different distance and different angle. Should I go down and repeat the same code down, and then a third one and repeat the code? I can do that, but that's not really the efficient way. And this is where what they call function will come in place. Function is basically a part of code that you can call it by a name. So you group the code together in one place and call it function draw art, for example, and you call it with certain parameters and it will do the work. You call it with another parameters, it will do another graph for you, and things like that. So let's now create a function. Okay, see, we'll leave those D and things there, and basically what you want to do a function, you come here and you in Python you say def means definition of a function. Now you choose a name. It's up to you to choose any name. So I'll choose draw art for me. That's the name of my function. Now this function will require how many parameters? What are the parameters? It will need the distance and will need the angle. So this is something called parameters we have here. So the user will send to the function distance and angle. We notice when we draw this one, we need d and angle. Okay. So the function, similar to the for loop, it should end by a colon here. Okay. And then press enter. Now those d's and angle, I don't need them anymore. Why? Because they are here. The for loop now need to be part of the function. So it should move similar to what we did here. And this one should move down by that. See, the indentation of our code is important. See, we have the function, we have the for loop inside the function, and we have 3 lines inside the for loop. And this is why they are coming together, the 3 lines. The for function is coming below that one. So now we have that function. If we run it, we'll get nothing on the screen. No, we created function, but nothing is coming. What the use of that? Because basically we have the function, the computer being programmed to understand the function, but we did not tell the program or the computer, please run that function. So how you run a function? You basically write its name, draw art, it came here, and inside this one you pass the 2 parameters. You remember we passed 200 and 140 if I remember. Yeah? So here this line basically is calling the function, asking the function to run. Okay? So if you run it now, you will see it will start running again. Good? Now once it's finished, I can run it again using different parameters, but I'll have an issue there. But let me show you what I meant. If I run it again by 45, let's this one finish first. No, I think I should stop this one. See now, there are 2 functions. First, it will draw the first one, then it will run another function with angle 45. But both will come on top of each other. Now later we need to know how we can draw the other graph somewhere else, not on the same previous graph. But let's see this one first. Now it's drawing the first graph. I'm going through and doing this drawing. And once it's done, it will start drawing the second one. See? Still drawing the first one, I think. Yeah, now it started drawing the other one. And the other one is going somewhere else because I use 45 from here and it's drawing somewhere else. So this is now coming from the other graph, which maybe I need to make the distance smaller a little bit. This distance, if it is less, say by only 100, so what will happen from here, it will move only a little bit like this and start drawing in this place, or say 50. Yeah, let's do 50, and then it will do that. So you will see that the 2 graphs are there, but they are connected to each other because of the problem. I did not ask the pen or the object to move to another place, which we will do after this. And you see when the object moves from another place, it will start doing things. So it started now drawing the other one, and see the other one is a little bit going out of that because we're using the 45, and the 45 angle is behaving differently. Okay, I'll stop this one. Although I didn't like that 45, I'll try 98 again. Let's start here 98. This I think will produce something amazing, and this 144, 140. I think this will bring something nice. Yeah, you can see it will be better than that triangle, which will show some nice thing. The creativity is yours. I would expect you to come with some creative arts and drawing based on changing those parameters, and you will be able to produce some great stuff coming from that application. Now, if we want to move, from we want to draw the first one here, but the other object we want to draw it here without linking the two together. Okay, so we want to do that. Python has something very nice called you take the pen up. So if I say object up, means now it's like when you draw on a piece of paper. Once the pen on the paper, that's down, you take it up, then you can move to another part of your paper and start drawing. This is exactly what's that one. So we'll take it up and move it. We'll go to another location. When you look at this graph, the center is here. So this is 0, 0. The default is x0, y0 in the middle, somewhere in the middle of your screen. And now, where do you want to do? You want to take the pen up and move to, as it is, we'll call it x and y. Okay? And then put the pen down, object down. Okay? So, basically, we start here, drawing something. Then we move take the pen up, go somewhere and draw here. Now, how we can do that? We need to pass the x and y as well as a parameter. Now, you see our function used to have only two parameters, d and angle. Now we're adding x and y. So we're asking it to move somewhere else. Now here we'll start 0 and 0. Okay? And let's stay with our 144, and this one we will start moving. So our y will keep it as it is. See, this is x and this is y. The x is, the center is here, so x and y are here. Now if I want to draw the other one here, I need to take x left, so become minus, say 100, and keep y as it is. Okay? However, this depends on where is the last angle. Now, having these two, I'll have the two graphs are not on top of each other. They are not with each other. They go somewhere a little bit far. And let me run this and see what will come here. So now drawing the first object or the first diagram, and then we'll take the pen up and move to another point, and then start drawing the new diagram. And this is how you take your, see, it's moved to another place now and started drawing. So I moved little bit from the center by only 100, but if I want to move more further, 200, I could have moved it somewhere here, and I could have done that. But you look at the two shapes a little bit, they are different. And this is the way you can move around. That's good. Now, what's about the color? Now, in the previous one, we had some nice colors on the screen. Here, we're not getting those colors. Okay? How we can do that? So, again, the object has something called pen color. And the pen color take a text. Say, for example, red. Okay? And now, if I draw it, will draw in red. And this is the red color coming on this. Everything will be in red. Now, what if I want that color to be different? So I want the color to be different. Okay? So how I can do that? I need to get the three colors. Now, this one is useful, but just I don't need it now. So let's create something called color, CL variable. And I'm going to use something called a list here. And list, use this bracket. So I'll say red sorry, quotation, red, comma, green, comma, blue. So these are the three colors I'm going to, I can add more. Now this is a list. The list is similar to array. Those who know array, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Okay. So what we will do here, we have that. Then what we can do inside this line, we can say obj dot pen color, and then we will put this one CL. Now if I put one here, it will be green. CL1, it will be green. Why? Because CL or the list start by 0. 0 is red, 1 is green, 2 is blue, and if I add another one will be 3. So start by 0. This is not, red is not 1, red is 0, and that way. So if I put one here, this color will be green. If I run it now, you will see a green color comes there. Now what I need to change that. I want this color to keep changing. One time it is red, other time it's become green, and then it becomes blue. So what I can do, I can change this one to something called C. I'll call it C, variable C. And I can start here by saying C equals 0 in the function. So when the function starts, it's 0. Now to make a change, I need to come somewhere and inside the for loop and say C equals C plus 1. Why I'm doing that? Because first time it run these functions, it will run it as 0. So it will make it red color. Second time it goes into the loop goes again, it will increment C by 1, and C become now 1, not 0. The 0 become 1, and then run it as green. The third time it goes and increase it by 1 and run it as blue. And then this way the color will keep coming on the screen. But there is one problem we have here if we keep things as it is. If we keep it as it is, the C will grow from 1 to 100. But we know we have only 3 items here, 0, 1, 2. So we should not allow C to go more than 2. If it goes more than 2, it will create an error for us, okay, or will confuse us. So we do that. See, have an error came on the screen saying line 14, there is a problem with line 14, because we're asking for an element in CL that is not available. Okay, how I control C not to go more than 2? I can have an if statement, and this is where the if statement, if C is more than 2, then make C equal 0. Set it back to 0. And now becomes 0. You run it as red. Then it will go and increase by 1. We'll check this one, doesn't apply. We'll go back 1 and run it as 1. And then run it at 2. When it gets more than 2, become 3, we'll make it 0. And this way you will see our color keep changing between those 3 colors, going around and continue running that. And this is a way you can change the color. Like you can add a 4th color if you want, and then you change this one to 3. If you want to use yellow or whatever color you want to come with. Looks nice, but I will think it will look better if I make the distance only 1. Okay, and let me just run only the first one with 150. Just I want to show you some nice things hopefully will come here. And what I can make this one run to 400. See what will happen now. I'm not sure what will exactly happen, but you will see now something going on, and it will maybe become a nice art that you can enjoy, and you can build some more amazing things. Again, the same thing we use here, we can apply to some mathematical formulas if you are interested in that. But now you learn the basics of programming. I will summarize it, and then hopefully with other practice you will be doing and things you will do in your own, you will understand it better. And then we will start using other applications. This is maybe a simple application, and all the others will be simple. If once you just start do programming, you will find it fun, you will enjoy it, and you will be creating amazing things. With Python you can do gaming, you can do simulations, you can do mathematical formulas, physics, art, anything you would like to do, you will be able to create amazing stuff. I'm sure you will create an amazing, some amazing stuff from this one. Okay, while that one is drawing and done, good. Let us summarize. Okay. Now, what is really programming? After we did this, now what is really programming? Maybe we're asking this question a little bit late, but I think it's better to ask it late instead of asking something at the beginning and become not clear. I think programming is instructions to the computer. Set on instructions that the computer need to do. You write a program means you tell the computer do this, do that, and the computer is a very nice guy. Will do whatever you ask to do, but you have to tell in a language that it understands. And computer understand only 0 and 1, as you know. But how can we do this using some language like this? This language like Python and other, they call it high-level programming language. The objective or the aim of creating a language that similar to human language is to help human communicate to the computer. In between, there is something else will convert between what we do to 0 and 1. When computers started, people using only 0 and 1, using wires and switches and keep changing things. And later they came with something called assembly language, which some keywords that people can use allow people to do certain things. But they find later it became very complicated. There are huge number of keywords you need to do. So they said, why don't we come with something like human language? And they came with those high-level programming language like C, Java, Python, all other languages that you heard about it. So human use language like human language to communicate with the computer following certain structure. And the structures require a number of things. You need to have some variables you refer to. For here in our case, the variable we have is the D, which we change the value every time we put different D. It's up to us. Why they call it variable? Because it change. We can change those variables. Angle, we're changing the angle, X, Y, and we're changing X, Y. So those something they call it variables or data type. And there's so many different data type. We'll come through it later. In Python, we have seen here we're using numbers, integers, whole numbers here we're using. And then also we have noticed that we use something here called list. But there are so many variables or data types. From the highest one is object and class, and then comes down to those primitive data type like integers, float, and string, and other things which you do. Python is flexible. You don't have to declare the data type. You don't need to say from the beginning, this is integer, this is float, and it allows you to change it. We'll have examples later. We'll see how we work with the data type. So that one. The other thing, the programming to reduce the number of line of code and be efficient in running code, use loops. And one of the loops used here called for. For loops, it increment by 1. You can, that's the default. You can make it increment by something different, which we will look at it later. but basically the loop repeat at certain number of times. You want it to repeat 400 like this, in case it will repeat 400 millions, it will repeat for million, whatever you want, how many times you want it to repeat. And that's the for loop. There are others called while repeats while there is a condition is true. Once the condition change, then it will leave that loop and go to the next line. And we will look at the while and for, and when we use while and for. Then comes the if statements or conditions. When certain condition apply, we do certain things. And the if statement, we will look at it, and it has also something called nested if, which if inside if. And if the if is true, you do something else, you do something else. Maybe, and that's called conditions or selections. And that depends on that. Now, in programming, it's important to group your code in functions. Why you need function? As we created here something called draw art. Function make it easy to run the code multiple times, every time with different parameters. Here we draw it using 150D and 98 the angle and 00, but we can, again, as you noticed, we can run the same function again using different data by moving this one to minus 200. So after drawing that one, it will go somewhere else and draw the same thing. So the function allows you to run the same code with new parameters, and you keep doing that. Later also you will find those functions can be grouped in something called class. This one, the turtle object we're calling, is actually a class. It has number of functions in it, sometimes really large number of functions, which you just call them when you need to do that. And that's we will see later with some examples. But these are the fundamentals. What we cover today is really essential. And if you repeat it and do it again, my advice, start, look at the video, write your notes, and then delete everything and start from scratch and build your own one. And be creative. Come with a different way to do the things. See, the angle also, we can make it variable, make it change every time in different value, or increment, start by 1 and increment and get different chart. You can use also later something called randomization. So you create a random angle between 1 and 360, and every random you do something, every one you do something different. So this is all in your hand. Enjoy it, do the maximum of it. And if you want to access this code as it is at the moment, you can use this link here, which will come in here. This is the link that you can use and access the code, and you will get the same code as it is now on the screen. Now let me give it a title. I didn't give it title. What should we call it? Draw art. Call it draw art. Okay. So, and it's again the same number. Okay, this is the number now. Sorry. Now the number changed because I gave it a new name. So use this address now to access the latest code we have here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you find this first video interesting, and we'll have more of that. And good luck with learning programming in Python.